Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Go Ahead and Make Me. My name is Johan, and as you can probably tell by what's around me, this is a Christmas episode, and it'll be the first of two, maybe three episodes that have the Christmas theme. We're gonna have lots of fun. So, wait, something missing. Oh, that's better. Let's get started.
Go ahead and make me.
Actually, the hat might get a little bit hot, so let's get rid of it. Um, Christmas. I don't know about you, but I love Christmas. Um, I love the atmosphere. I love all the excitement beforehand, and I love making stuff for Christmas, of course. And so we'll be doing some of that. This episode, I'll be making two wreaths and also two decorative trees, and I'll show you later what I mean. One of the wreaths you can see here, it's sort of a Victorian type moon on top of a wreath. And I'll show you how to make that moon. It's a very simple pattern, very easy to follow. The only thing is that you'll probably have to find this silver fabric that I used for it. But you can substitute it for anything that's even slightly shimmery, or maybe you don't even want it to shimmer. Maybe you just want a yellow moon. You can do that. Um, the other wreath that I'm going to make is something that I haven't actually made yet. So I'm going to make it live on camera, and so that's a bit of a risk because that could go wrong, right? Um, in short, it's a wreath that I will use this as a frame. One of these wreaths frame that you can find in craft shops. Um, my idea is to make a braided wreath on top of it, of fabric, of course. So I'll make three tubes. Um, I did make the tubes, but I'll show you how to make those as well. Um, that I'll be braiding in the circle, and then some embellishments and all that. So I have no idea what it's going to look like. So we'll both find out at the same time. Okay. Every year when Christmas comes around, I tend to go a bit crazy when it comes to buying fabrics because uh, these days you get fantastic fabrics with the most incredible prints, and they're all so inviting and so tempting to buy. This year I've been pretty good, I think. I haven't bought that many different fabrics. Um, but I do tend to buy fabrics like this one. I'll show you this. Um, it's so cute, but I don't really know what to do with it. That's the thing. I buy this fabric, but then I don't really have a plan for it. I guess I just like looking at it and you know getting ideas of what I could do with it, and but I really like this, right? So that's that one. My favorite fabric this year is actually a very simple one. I think I liked it because you can do so many different things with it. It's this fabric. It's a simple Christmassy green, and then it's got both gold and silver stars on it. And well, as I said, you could use this for all kinds of projects. And I'll show you. One of the wreaths is actually made with this fabric. Um, yeah, what I also like is that it's not too glittery because I'm a bit over glitter, aren't you? Everything is just too glittery around Christmas these days, and it's gone a bit overboard. And also, it's not really good for the environment because where does all that glitter go in the end? So, yeah, taking a bit of a step back from glitter. Um, well, let's get started with the first wreath. So the first thing we do is I should say you. Don't you hate it when people say we when they mean you? Um, you print out the pattern for the moon, and it's in the description. You can download it for free. It's very simple. It's just 3 pieces, like so. You'll see it when you print it out. It's 3 pieces that you need to stick together with some sticky tape, and then you get the full moon pattern. Then the fabric that I used is this very shimmery, very shiny silver fabric. It's the kind of fabric that they use for little dance costumes for girls who are in groups called Sparkle Motion and such. It's super stretchy in every direction. So in order to stabilize the shape of the moon, that it doesn't go each and every way, the back of it, for that I used a piece of leftover upholstery fabric, which is the opposite, which doesn't move at all. So that will retain the shape, and that's what we want. So what we do is, on the upholstery piece, you copy the pattern, the shape of the moon, right? Then you take your Sparkle Motion fabric, cover it, turn it over. Of course, both fabrics are with the right sides together, right? Because we're going to turn it inside out later. Just use some pins to put the 2 pieces together. So, fabrics are together. So now all we have to do is sew along the lines of the pattern of the moon. But having said that, take care to leave 2 openings like it says on the pattern, right here and right there. Don't worry, the pattern will show you exactly where not to sew the moon together, because those are the openings we're going to use to stuff the moon with polyfiber. And rather than just have one opening, because if I would just have made one opening, then it would have been much harder to reach the points of the moon with the polyfill. Let's put it under the machine. Now here's where we pause for one of the openings, but as I said, the pattern will show exactly where that is. So there it is. The whole moon has been sewn, except of course for the bits like here, maybe leave an opening. So now all we do is we cut out the moon. And here is the cutout moon. I tend to keep for projects this size, I usually use about 1 centimeter width of seam allowance, and you just do whatever suits you best, what you're used to, and what works most comfortably for you. 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, 1 centimeter. As I said, I prefer about 1 centimeter. With curved seams, don't forget to cut in to accommodate the fabric when you turn it inside out. Just make little cuts along the curve on both sides here as well, so that when you turn it inside out, it doesn't pucker or stretch or anything. Now, turning it inside out, it's not a hard job, but you have to be a little bit patient with the fabric. You don't want to be ripping seams, so you just take your time for it. Especially with this weird silver material. You don't know how it's going to behave in the end, so you just be careful. And to get to the very ends of the points, you can use a chopstick, like I often do, or, because I don't have a chopstick handy, I just noticed, a pencil. You just push it out. Now, what I will not show you is how to actually stuff the moon. That's a bit of a weird thing to say, stuff the moon. I will not show you how to stuff the moon, because you know how to stuff things, right? I mean, all you have to do is make sure that it's tightly packed, because you don't want any wrinkles, and because the fabric is so stretchy. Yeah, so I'm not showing you that. And once you've stuffed the moon and you've closed the seams, it really is up to you what else you do with it, because you can decorate it any way you want. As you can see, I've put this on a wreath that is handmade. You see, this was handmade by friends who make them every year. I love this. It's sort of gnarly and sort of primitive. I really like that. And then the moon itself. Those Victorian moons, they always have something a little bit nasty about them. They sort of, I don't trust them. Those faces, I don't trust them. But I still like them very much. As you can see, I just embroidered the face on it with the simplest of stitches. Then I bedazzled it with some self-adhesive rhinestones. At the ends, I put some lace, just leftover bits of lace that I had. I added some stars of the same material as the moon. And then, I'm still not sure about this addition, but it's a little fairy that I put on the moon. She's cute, but it's teetering on the edge of kitsch, isn't it? But, it's Christmas, so... Oh, and there's a little birdie there as well. Yeah, so do it your own way. Embellish it the way you want. Use the colors that you want. I'd love to see the ones that you make, and please send your pictures to the email address that I've just created especially for this channel. And I've also got a Facebook page now, so your pictures will end up on the Facebook page. Right, so the second wreath we're making is the braided wreath. That is a complete experiment. I have no idea what it's going to look like, or even exactly how am I going to do it, but we'll find out. My idea was to take this frame, create on top of that a braid made out of fabric, much like you would braid, I guess, hair. Not that I would know. Or maybe you've made a braided bread once in your life. You know, when you braid the dough. That's pretty much how it's going to function, I think. So, in order to braid, you need 3 strands of something. I made these 3 of the favorite fabric that I showed you earlier, and I had no idea how long they should be or how short. So what I did is I took the fabric. I made strokes like these. What do you call it? Strokes? Stripes? What would you call this? I thought it's better to have them too long than too short. So I cut 3 strokes. I'm still not sure it's strokes. Anyway, 3 pieces of 160 centimeters because I thought that would be long enough. Um, of course, when you make one, you'll have to sort of guess how long the fabric will need to be for you. For your, maybe you'll want to make a smaller one or a much bigger one. So what you do then is to create the tubes. Is you simply fold the fabric right side together, and you just sew on one side so that you create a tube. This, of course, is not 160 centimeters, but this is just as an example. Then you turn it inside out, which can be a bit tricky. But if you use a really big safety pin, you just put the safety pin at the end, stick it in, and just follow the safety pin, and that's the way you turn the whole thing inside out. So that's what I did with these 3. And I will show you because the third one I didn't completely stuff yet with polyfill. Only one side of it is stuffed. What I did is to make a halfway mark with a safety pin. This is exactly in the middle of the whole tube, so that when you stuff it, you only have to stuff it from this end to the middle, and from this end to the middle. And so when you've done that, you come out with these tubes. I know they look a bit weird. I didn't actually close them yet properly. What I did was I put these clamps on them. These, what do you call these? Are these sewing clamps? I'm not sure what yeah. So just to keep them closed for now, I'll just keep them like that. And then we're somehow going to have to start braiding. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, so now I've got the 3 tubes and the frame. I'm using the clamps that I used to close the tubes to attach them to the frame, and in the hopes that that'll allow me to start braiding in the round. Well, let's give it a try. All right, so here we are. Let's see if we can actually braid with this. I don't think I'm doing this right. Yeah, like so. The fabric wants to pull back, so you really have to keep the pressure on it. Oh, but so far it's already looking pretty much how I hoped it would. Now, I'm doing this alone, but if you do have an extra pair of hands, then you would actually recruit them to hold this bit in place for you that you've already done, so that you don't have to exert too much pressure on it all. There. It's not the perfect circle, but we'll attach it so that it will be. Yeah, pretty happy with how that looks. Let's see what the best way is to attach it to the frame. Now I'm thinking that probably the best way to attach it to the wreath is with this giant needle and some extra strong thread. Now in the last episode I mentioned that I tend to use a double thread when I hand sew, because of the bears that I make. I want them to be extra sturdy, so I use a double thread. And I was asked what I exactly meant with a double thread. Well, it's exactly that. I use a thread, I don't know if it's visible, but that I double all the way down, put a knot at the end, so that I'm sewing with twice the strength of a thread, a double thread. That's it. So I will just start here, take all 3 strands on the needle, pull it through, then go under and just take one of them, the most outer one, pull it through again, and so you really just go randomly in and out. Attaching the braid to the frame. I love these frames. I don't know if where you live you can get these, but I have a few of them every year. They cost very little, and you can just let your imagination go wild on them. You can just do whatever you want with these frames. You can attach, you know, just natural bits and pieces on it that you got from your own garden, or you know, make it as glittery as you want, or just cover it with baubles, with a glue gun or whatever. I don't use glue guns myself, I hate them. But if that's your thing, you know, why the hell not? And so we just keep going around, attaching it to the frame. Alright, so that's the braid attached to the frame. Now this is where the two ends meet. And you might think, oh, it doesn't look very neat. And you're right, it doesn't, but it doesn't matter because we will put on that spot with a bit of the same fabric. We'll put a bow on it. I keep catching myself that I actually do keep saying we instead of you or I. It's like when you go to the supermarket and they say, "How are we today?" Well, I don't know about you, but my day is fine, thanks. So, a bow. I'm not the neatest of bow makers, but it'll have to do. There. That's cute. There. So we have the braided wreath. The shin itself is lovely, but it's a bit bare, a bit boring the way it is, so we can put some embellishments on it. And for that I have, among other things, a few cuttings from the garden. This is pencil pine. I especially like it because it's got the seed pods on it, which is also very decorative. So we'll just along the frame, we'll just stick them in behind the braid so that they stick out here and there. That already looks nice. So that's all the pencil pine on the wreath. And I've got some other stuff that I would like to put on as well. I love this. It's the purple kind of, I don't know what it is actually. But I think it would look great against the green. Well, let's just see what it looks like. So it's getting there. It still might need one or two things. Let's have a look. Oh, the pencil pine smells amazing, by the way. It's not quite like a normal pine, but the smell is very Christmassy, just the same. Now, I was thinking, I have these laser cut snowflakes, and I thought if I just place them here and there over the wreath, that'd be quite decorative. So let's have a look and see how that goes. So there we have it. That's the improvised braided wreath. I think it looks pretty good, especially considering I had no idea what it was going to look like. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. The other thing I wanted to show you were these trees that I made. I'll just start by showing you what I made them out of. This, you can buy this at most craft stores around Christmas. You have them in different sizes, from the really big one to the small ones. Yeah, you can embellish them any way you like. I'll just show you two ways that I did it. This is the first one I made. It's made out of pom-poms. Pom-poms were very fashionable in, I think, the 70s. That's when I learned how to make them. And then lately they've seemed to have enjoyed a revival of sorts. everything is pom-pom, or it was for a while. It's probably already out of fashion again. I'm not up to date with these things. But I did make all these pom-poms to make this tree. I just glued them to this. That's all I did. It takes a while to make this amount of pom-pom, so if you do, I would suggest that you do it while you're watching your favorite show or something like that. I guess the other thing I should tell you is that I added this star, which was just a wooden star. I just put some silver foil on it and embellished it with a bit more bling. I don't know if this will come across under these lights, but I also put lights in it. I don't know if you can see it. There, I'm not sure if you can see the lights or not. The way I did that was I just bought a string of lights on batteries and made a hole in the bottom so that it can accommodate the battery pack, and then you can just, oh, of course now it falls out, and then it should just stand happily by itself. I made another one and I forgot to bring it, so I now have to take a break and get the other one. Now, the second tree I was going to show you, also made from styrofoam cone, is this one, made with feathers, blue feathers, as you can see. Now, it's as simple as buying a pack of feathers in your preferred color, sticking them in the tree, and that's it. I'm not going to show you how to do it because that's all there is to it. What I will show you is how to make a top. Just like the other one, I just used a piece of pre-cut wood in the shape of a star, available everywhere around Christmas, I'm sure. On one side, I put self-adhesive foil, and I bedazzled it with some fake diamonds. And I'll show you how to attach it to the top of the tree. So we have the star, and we use one of these. I think it's used for barbecue foods, stuff like that. We just put glue on the broad end. Not too much, doesn't need much. And this is just fabric glue. Position it so that the star is at the right end, the right angle. Press it a bit. Wait until it's dried a little, which is fairly quick. And then we take the top end of the tree and just insert it into the foam like that. Wait, that's better. Sorry, this was out of focus a little bit, I just realized. That's it, and your tree is ready. That's all for this episode, a special Christmas episode, the first of 2 or 3. I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed making it. Next time, I'll be giving you my first paper piece pattern by saying that 10 times. Paper piece pattern. Of course, it's a Christmas theme, so I'll see you then, and take care.